Well, well, well. All the talk seems to be surrounding George Pickens going to the Dallas Cowboys. And I can understand some of this talk because I believe that there are some people who are actually afraid of what George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb together is going to do for Dak Prescott and for all the hate that they've been showing that they're going to be wrong. But we've also seen some things that George Pickens has done on the sideline and some of the things that we heard. And by no means am I condoning those things. But I'm going to give you two reasons why I believe the Dallas Cowboys have nothing to worry about with George Pickens. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, please don't forget at the end to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a member of this channel already, please do. We have a lot of great things coming in the future. Now let's talk facts. George Pickens. I can understand why some people would believe that George Pickens is very controversial for the Cowboys and that he may be a problem. But I, for one, am not worried about George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys. And the reason why I am not worried is that I was stating these things before any of the media really started talking about this. Well, when you think about who George Pickens has actually been up under or who he's been the wide receiver for, his quarterbacks have been Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, Russell Wilson, not in his prime, and Justin Fields. And neither of these quarterbacks, the ones who he actually played with, could seem to get the ball to him. George Pickens is an immensely talented wide receiver, and he also needs to mature. But I also believe that George Pickens is maturing very quickly and will mature with the Dallas Cowboys for two reasons. Let me give you reason number one. George Pickens has to prove to this league that he's worth the money that his talent says he's worth. Oh, his talent says he's worth, what, $20+ million per season. It's going to be interesting to see if the Cowboys re-sign him. But where people are hesitant is in his attitude. And again, I do believe some of his attitude it's because of where he played, who he played for, the quarterbacks that he played with. And again, Mike Tomlin is a great leader, but again, Mike Tomlin is not an offensive-minded guy. He's not. This article was written by Patrick with no C Walker over on DallasCowboys.com. And it says George Pickens vows to work every day to make winning culture happen for Cowboys. Well, the Cowboys are already working on that winning culture, but he's definitely going to be a part of it. And it says here, George Pickens sounds renewed and refreshed, as if he's had some added bounce in his gait as he strolls off of the light from Western Pennsylvania to set foot in North Texas, having become the newest wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys by way of a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers on Wednesday. No, he's had a burden lifted off his back. He finally has a quarterback. And I'm going to comment on this as we go through the article because I'm going to tell you some of the things that I believe why he feels like a burden has been lifted off him. Says here, he says, I feel great, said the former second-round pick. I like the mojo here. I like the swag. There's a lot of new players I've been meeting. We've got a great thing going for sure. No doubt. Brian Schottenheimer has come in. Brian Schottenheimer did some great things. Brian Schottenheimer and the Cowboys did some great things in free agency. The Cowboys had an absolute insane draft, and they continue to work, and George Pickens is one of these players that they continue to work in, I guess what we can call an extended free agency. And so here we are again. It says it's a rare blockbuster trade for Dallas, a team that often shies away from such things, the last being to acquire Amari Cooper in 2018, but keeping in the vein of hoping to resolve a dire need of wide receiver, this time around it's all-pro wideout CeeDee Lamb sitting atop the throne, and Pickens, who was a human highlight reel and the number one target for the Steelers, understands he's brought in to create a tandem. Yes, it is. And so again, it says right here, seeing as he and Lamb have a long-standing personal relationship that predates the trade, something Lamb hinted at with a waving gif on social media only hours ahead of the news breaking, the chemistry between the two appears to be prepackaged. It excites me a lot, the 24-year-old said. In the game of football, we can work off each other, and that's why it comes back to building a winning culture. This is one of the things I want to capitalize on. Everyone keeps saying that he is going to relieve some pressure from CeeDee Lamb. But CeeDee Lamb is also going to relieve some pressure from him. For all intents and purposes, George Pickens is a number one wide receiver. That's what he was in Pittsburgh. He is actually not a number 2 receiver. George Pickens is a 1. He's a 1B, but he's a 1. This is going to be great, not just for CeeDee Lamb. It is going to be great for him. And so this is why I like the fact, one of these comments that he makes, he said when he was growing up watching football, elite teams had 2 elite receivers far more often than not. It's something the Cowboys can attest to, though more historically than recently. Yes, because when you think about the 90s Cowboys, Michael Irvin, and shall we not forget Alvin Harper? Yeah, a lot of teams. Even when you look at the 49ers back in the day, teams had 2 wide receivers. The Cowboys, even back in the 70s, the Cowboys in the 70s had Drew Pearson and Tony Hill. Championship teams typically had 2 really strong wide receivers, 2 elite wide receivers. And so George Pickens, he's really speaking the right thing. He says, CeeDee is a super dynamic receiver, super dynamic player, said Pickens. I just feel like schematically, you won't be able to double everybody, so that'll be a great thing for me and him. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about George Pickens. And I want to read this last statement with George Pickens as he talks about Dak Prescott, and then I'm going to let you hear what Jason Garrett is saying about this issue with George Pickens coming to the Dallas Cowboys. But it says here, additionally, in helping to establish an early chemistry, Pickens has not only spoken with Lamb, but also all-pro quarterback Dak Prescott. Pickens says, he's a very prolific quarterback and smart at that, he said of Prescott. I'm glad to work with him. Yeah. I know people don't like it, but Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback in this league. No doubt about it. And if you talk to people who know football, if you talk to quarterbacks, I guarantee you a lot of them will tell you Dak Prescott is top 5. They will tell you this. CJ Stroud has Dak Prescott in his top 5. They will tell you this. He's a quarterback. I mean, that's what he is. He is a quarterback's quarterback. He's very cerebral. Dak Prescott knows this game. The issue with Dak Prescott is Dak hasn't had the weapons around him that he needs. But to the Cowboys, they're working hard. And we're getting there. And so you're doggone right he's excited about playing with Dak Prescott. And this is one of the reasons why I believe we have nothing to worry about with George Pickens, because now he is with a quarterback that he believes is a quarterback that is good enough, smart enough to get him, not just him, but get him the ball as well as the other receivers. Now, let's listen to something that Jason Garrett said about why we don't have anything to worry about as it applies to George Pickens. This was on 105.3 or 105.3 The Fan. They were talking about this yesterday. Let's roll it.
Doing the interview reaction yesterday with Mike Florio and Chris Sims, they said all this is going to go back to number 4.
That's why it goes back to the quarterback for me, because the quarterback's the guy who has to develop the relationship with. He's the guy who's going to spend the most time with. And so he understands. Pickens knows that if I develop a relationship with Dak, he's going to throw me the ball. I'm going to have a lot of success, all of that. And I think Dak fully understands that. And I think that's the key relationship here. Ownership, organizational structure, head coach, very important, obviously. But if you can take the next step and you have an established quarterback, I think that helps it. It helps that guy be less malcontented, if you will. And in Pittsburgh, when he's been there, the quarterback situation's been up in the air.
Right.
I don't think they'd have the same issues if Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback. Antonio Brown had a lot of good years there. And a lot of that had to do with Roethlisberger's presence. And I think the same thing can happen in Dallas with Dak.
Yeah, exactly. Dak Prescott is going to be the key in this. And even Colin Cowherd, who I call the local Dak Prescott hater, the one thing that he'll tell you about Dak Prescott is one of his intangibles is his ability to be able to manage chaos. That Dak Prescott has been able to withstand things that Jerry Jones has said. He's been able to withstand things his own teammates have said. Dak Prescott has been able to withstand things that the media say at large. I mean, Dak Prescott is a crisis manager, and he knows how to really bring teams. And a lot of people don't understand that what it takes to be a Cowboys quarterback. And especially when you think about what Dak has dealt with during his time here. I mean, Dak Prescott is a great leader. He makes people around him better, contrary to what people say. Ask these wide receivers who came and played with Dak, and then after they left, after Dak helped them get the contracts, look at what they look like now. Dak Prescott is great. He's a great person, and he's going to be great. He's going to be absolutely great with one George Pickens. And I want to finish and close with something that Vosh Lombardi said. Shout out to Vosh Lombardi because I totally agree with this. Let me let you hear what he said, and not him saying it, but they're saying what he said on 105.3 The Fan. Check this out.
Vosh Lombardi tweeted something yesterday, kind of connected with Garrett to what Garrett just said. You don't build a leadership culture to keep divas out. You build leadership so they can lead the divas.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that
That's it. And that's what I've been talking about when you talk about bad guys. Are guys bad to the core, or are they guys who maybe made a bad decision? Maybe they've been in a bad situation. When you have the culture that the Cowboys are building, that culture is not designed for good guys only. See, I asked this question during the draft because I was asking, are the Cowboys stressing too hard? Are they stressing too hard character guys? And it seemed like that Brian Schottenheimer was listening, because he came back and said, yeah, we're looking for character guys, but we also want guys who can play. Because that was my point. Because do you overlook guys who can play when you start making character the ultimate decision on players? Because again, sometimes when you're talking about players, you're not talking about character issues sometimes. Maybe you're talking about immaturity in situations that maybe they just didn't know how to process at the time. So with George Pickens, I don't think we're talking about a character guy. We're going to see. We're going to see. Time will tell. Young, immature, and I don't think we were necessarily dealing with character. I think we were dealing with more immaturity and someone who didn't know how to handle the situation. But when you think about the Cowboys locker room, Dak Prescott is the leader. Michael Parsons is now stepping up. CeeDee Lamb, Oso Digizua. We got guys. Let me tell you something. Tyler Booker is young, but I'm telling you, and I said it on the live stream the other day, Tyler Booker is a leader already, and he's not putting up with no nonsense. So this is the perfect situation, at least in my estimation, for George Pickens, and why I don't think Cowboy fans have to worry about George Pickens. I believe George Pickens is going to come in for the Cowboys, and he's going to be exactly what we need him to be and exactly what we want him to be. He is going to be a great wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, bar none. End of story. I'm excited for this Cowboys season. I've been telling people the Cowboys are moving different. Now, it took for George Pickens for other people to jump on the bandwagon. Nah, I've been here. I've been here ever since they got. I've been here ever since they got Brian Schottenheimer. Because it seems like the moment they hired him as the coach, they started talking different. And they started doing things different. And Stephen Jones said his goal is to build the best roster in the NFL. He's on his way. Y'all tell me what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.